Welcome back. Today we need to talk about South Korea's latest attempt to completely humiliate the Germans. Look closely. It is called the Genesis GV90. And I am going to be brutally honest with you right out of the gate. This thing is completely, utterly, and unapologetically absurd. It is a 3-ton, leather-lined, battery-powered leviathan that proves luxury is basically just a competition to see who can build the heaviest car.
We live in an era where everyone preaches saving the planet. Yet Genesis looked at the market and decided what we really need is a land yacht that weighs 3,030 kilograms. 6,680 pounds. That is heavier than some actual buildings. If you park this on a weak bridge, you will instantly become part of the local river system.
Let us start with the numbers, because they are absolutely hilarious. Underneath that sleek, rather imposing body sits a gargantuan 123.5 kilowatt-hour battery pack. It is the largest battery Hyundai Motor Group has ever crammed into a passenger vehicle. It sits entirely on a brand new architecture called the Electric Mobility Prime Platform, or EMP. That massive battery sends juice to 2 electric motors, one on the front axle and one on the rear. Together, they churn out 657 horsepower and an earth-shattering 800 newton meters of torque. You hit the accelerator, and this 3-ton brick hurls itself toward the horizon with the kind of ferocity that rearranges your internal organs. It probably accelerates to 100 kilometers per hour faster than a dedicated sports car. Oh, Genesis is currently playing coy with the exact sprint times. But here is the massive, glaring issue: the efficiency. With a battery that size, you would expect this thing to drive from Berlin to Rome on a single charge. It does not. Genesis claims a maximum driving range of 501 kilometers. Let that sink in for a moment. 123 kilowatt hours of lithium-ion cells, and you only get 501 kilometers? It consumes electricity the way a teenager consumes breakfast cereal. It is dreadfully inefficient. Sure, if you can track down a 350 kilowatt fast charger, you can theoretically blast the battery from 10 to 80% in a brisk 22 minutes. But you will be making that pit stop frequently.
And the internet absolutely agrees with me. If you dive into the forums right now, the electric vehicle community is already sharpening their pitchforks. Owners of the smaller EV9 are laughing because the GV90 has a battery almost a quarter larger. But thanks to those ridiculous 24-inch forged wheels and all the heavy luxury gadgets, the range is effectively worse. People are confidently predicting the depreciation will resemble a piano falling off a cliff, and they are dead right. Buying a flagship luxury electric vehicle brand new is an act of sheer financial masochism. Give it 18 months and you will probably be able to pick one of these up for the price of a mid-spec Volkswagen Golf. The used car market is gonna feast on this machine.
But step away from the spec sheet for a moment. Look at it. The exterior design is actually quite brilliant. Genesis calls it confident and elegant. I call it intimidating. It looks like the vehicle of choice for a very successful supervillain. They kept the signature 2-line laser-engraved headlights seamlessly blended into the massive front fascia. But the real party piece is the doors. If you buy the top-tier Neolun version, you get what Genesis officially calls the Neolun Archgate. We just call them suicide doors. Coach doors, if you want to sound fancy. They have completely eliminated the B pillar. You open the front and rear doors, and you are greeted by an opening wide enough to drive a small hatchback through. It is an extraordinary piece of engineering. To keep the car from snapping in half without a central pillar, they integrated dual steel beams and a hidden roll cage that is thicker than anything else on the market. They even invented the world's first roof airbag, an airbag that deploys right across the glass roof, just in case you manage to flip your 3-ton living room upside down.
Then you climb inside. Or rather, you step into your new penthouse apartment. The interior of the GV90 makes a Mercedes EQS SUV feel a bit like a cheap rental car. That is not an exaggeration. The cabin is an absolute masterpiece of excess. You can spec it with wool cashmere, real stone trims, and natural wood. They even threw away the ignition button. You just press the brake pedal to wake the beast. Ahead of you sits a 23.6-inch OLED cinematic display. But wait, it gets even sillier.
When you park the car, the screen physically rises another 90 millimeters out of the dashboard, expanding to 24.6 inches, so you can watch movies while you drain the local power grid to charge the battery. You also get a massive 25-inch head-up display and a 25-speaker Bang & Olufsen sound system that literally tries to replicate the acoustics of famous concert halls. It is entirely operated by a new generative AI voice assistant called Glio AI, because pressing physical buttons is apparently for peasants. It is stupid. It is completely over the top, and I secretly love every single bit of it.
On the road, Genesis promises absolute serenity. They fitted a multi-chamber air suspension system that uses electronically controlled dampers to scan the road ahead and soften the ride before you even hit a bump. It floats. It isolates you from the miserable reality of potholes and speed bumps. They also added active rear-wheel steering that turns the back wheels up to 5 degrees. You absolutely need that. Otherwise, trying to park a 5.2-meter-long SUV in a normal supermarket car park would require an actual harbor pilot. It is a genuine rival to the upcoming Range Rover Electric and the Cadillac Escalade IQ. And frankly, looking at the sheer presence of this thing, it makes the BMW iX look like a frightened piglet.
So, where does that leave us? Let us talk about the price. Genesis has not confirmed the exact numbers yet, but expect this rolling palace to easily command a 6-figure price tag. It will start well over the 100,000 mark. And honestly, it is a tough pill to swallow. You are paying a colossal amount of money for a vehicle that depreciates faster than a modern smartphone and offers the aerodynamic efficiency of a garden shed. The GV90 is a deeply paradoxical machine. It represents the very pinnacle of South Korean automotive engineering, packed with world-first technologies, insane luxury, and genuinely gorgeous design. Yet, it entirely misses the point of going electric. It is too heavy, too power-hungry, too obsessed with excess.
Here is my crystal clear final verdict. The Genesis GV90 is not a breakthrough in electric mobility. It is marketing smoke and mirrors designed to convince wealthy buyers that they are saving the planet while wafting around in a 3,030-kilogram behemoth. It is an environmental disaster dressed in cashmere and OLED screens. But as a sheer statement of luxury, as a giant rolling middle finger to the established German elite, it is absolutely spectacular. You should never, ever buy one brand new. But in 3 years, when the original owner has taken a massive depreciation hit, it might just be the greatest second-hand bargain in the history of the automobile. If you enjoyed watching me tear apart a 3-ton Korean land yacht, do me a massive favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments if you would actually buy one of these madness machines. See you in the next one.